Hi, Paul Arnold here, sometimes a stuttering professor, and today I want to talk about the art of delegating. And you know what? It's something that so many people have a great difficulty to go and do. And often the boss is the last one who goes and leaves, and all of his people who got working with him have gone home, and he's thinking, now, why am I working late? And they've all gone. And actually a lot of it is we hide behind all these excuses. Oh, well, you know what, it was much quicker me to go and do it. And, you know, actually just a briefing him, I could have done at the same time I briefed them. And frankly, I could do it better. I know exactly what would be done. And I don't have time to go work. These are all nonsense excuses. And we've got to be aware we're putting excuses in the way because we're not focusing on the absolute fundamental role, what delegation is about. Delegation is not about passing off SAP tasks to other people. It's fundamentally about the art of developing your staff and giving them the chance to grow. You think back to a time yourself when a past boss delegated a meaningful task to you. What did you think? You thought, oh my God, you know, this person believes in me. He's trusting me. And do you know what? I bet you did what I did. You went out of your way to absolutely deliver at 110% because you wanted to actually support the trust he put in you or she put in you. And actually it's exactly the same. You have got to learn that you have to actually give up a bit of certainty and believe in your people to allow them to grow and develop. And you know what? Once they've started to grow and develop, then the next time they'll do even more. And it allows you to free yourself from some of the tasks you are actually superly overqualified to do, to allow them to go and do it, for you to rise up to do other things that you really should start to be doing now. You know, and in my experience that when people have believed in you and given you that stuff and delegated to you, then you never forget how much they trusted in you. And I think that's the fundamental role that as a manager, you've got to stop being the doer of a task. You've got to become the manager of people and developing them. And actually the truth is we have too few really good managers who are actually out there to develop the people. So think of delegating less about, you know, just getting rid of a task, and think of it, this is an opportunity to help my staff to grow and develop. And then you will then end up seeing it as the positive rather than seeing it as some, you know, annoying task you've got to go and do. Okay? Now, obviously, it completely depends upon what you delegate. If you just delegate to go and pick up your dry cleaning, then actually, you know, more's for you because that's just going to blow any respect. But you've got to delegate to them things you think is going to really help them grow. And as much as my video about coaching, you've got to realize where is their strength points? What is the area I need them to grow? And that's what you delegate them to go and do. But frankly, what you don't do is for a person who is actually not very good at numbers, you don't delegate to them a numbers thing because maybe that's better to give over there because actually you want them to grow, because at the end of the day we're all a bunch of actually strengths and weaknesses, and let's grow our strengths rather than trying to hope to actually necessarily address our weaknesses. That's another person's strength. Let them do that stuff. So there are 5 key factors in delegating. The very first thing is brief them on what they're capable of doing. As I just said, so you think this is what they're very good. This is the area of growth I want them to go and do. This is where I'm going to push them. I'm going to get them out of their comfort zone. I'm going to get them into their stretch zone, and we're going to make sure that therefore they can really grow and develop and build their own confidence and their skill set in that field. And the next thing you've got to do, you have got to put in time to make sure they have a very clear brief, a very crystal clear brief. They know exactly what they've got to go and do, and they've got to know exactly how they're going to go and do it. And in many ways, listen to my coaching video, because I increasingly think that we should make sure that they help to define how they're going to do it. But we talk about this thing about well begun is half done. If you spend time up front, if you do lock the door, put half an hour in, spend the time. You will find it pays back dividends longer, because if you don't brief them properly, if you brief them as you're walking down the corridor, trust me, it'll go wrong and you're spending more time later on. So spend the time up front. Make sure they have absolute clarity about what the task is. What are the key deliverables? What does great look like? Share them an example and allow questions for them. And you've got to be in a very non-judgmental space to allow them to ask the stupid questions, because if you are this sort of very judgmental, sort of looking down your nose at them, they're not going to dare to ask the question. And then, it's just going to backfire on you. So say, look, there's nothing stupid question. We all have to learn sometimes. So ask away, and they may ask, well, how do I switch on a computer? Look, fine, they never switched on the computer before. Help them to switch on the computer. It doesn't matter. At least you have the courage to ask you. And then you then got to ask feedback. So you tell me, what did you think you heard? What do you think is being required of you? And let's agree key outputs upon that. And then likewise, the next step is you've got to give support. You've got to help support them in what they're doing. So frankly, if you are asking them to do a net present valuation of future income streams from a product line, and they don't know what a net present value is, you've got to help them to do this. Say, well, go and speak to the finance director. Here is how you do the calculation. Here's what I've done before. Go onto Excel, you find it within there. Help them with what they need to go and do. So give them the support. And the support can as much be emotional support as it could be like, physical support with things like that. And the other thing that people often miss out is the reason why. You've got to give, why is this important? Because they've probably got 10 other tasks and you want them to think, this is a really important one. This is what I really want to go and do. So help them understand why this is an important task for them to really put their effort and time into. And then the last thing you do, you've got to follow on through. All too often people get briefed and they don't have time to do the next bit. You've got to spend as much time reviewing the work as you did on the briefing stuff, because this is often the time that you're going to need to actually revise it, do some changes to it, and this is another critical learning time for those people. So help them, sit down with them, review it, ask them what they found the problems was, what do they enjoy doing, review the stuff. And often when we follow up a follow through, you may want to set 3 or 4 follow throughs. So like, come back tomorrow with just your outline plan, then come back the next day with actually the top line of that, So you don't necessarily wait until the end, because often, particularly with a new person who's just briefed on something, they're not going to get it right first time. Now, why does it go wrong? Because trust me, it will not be as good as you did it. And you've got to learn to let go of that. They're going to do it slightly differently and maybe not as well, but it may be enough. But what happens is you've got to keep calm and don't go into blame and your fault. Oh my God, I knew I should never trust you. That doesn't help anyone. And the truth is 99 times 100 is your fault anyway. One finger pointing one, 3 fingers pointing back at yourself, because you probably didn't brief them clearly enough. You may have briefed the wrong person on the task. You didn't give them the support. You didn't say why it was important. So all those things, you can say, where did it go wrong? Now I need to rebrief them upon that particular aspect and give them another chance. And I always advise you to start small. Start in a small start that you think that they can do, get the reward for that, because as much as you're building their confidence and their skill base up, you're building your own confidence and your own belief in the skills of delegation. So take it slowly, and then after a while you build up, you build up, you build up, you build up. And the more you build up, the more you can move on to the bigger things that you need to go and do. And the last thing, there's a great article written in Harvard Business Review a number of years ago now called Don't Take the Monkey. And what happens is you've got to be very careful with it, because they're going to come and see you at some point and say, oh, I don't know how to do this, and before you know it, you're so busy, you say, well, look, just leave with me, I'll go and call Fred about it. And before you know what they've cleverly done, they've taken their metaphorical monkey which was on their shoulder and they put it onto your shoulder. And you've got to resist it. And again, you've got to use coaching skills. Say, well, hold on, what's the problem? Explain what you've done so far. What else do you think you could do? And then you get them to agree what is their next action step to make sure they hold on to the monkey. Anyway, I hope that's of use. I do train in the field of delegation, so if that is of any use for you, then please by all means contact me on the details at the end of this video. Anyway, good luck with your delegation. Ciao. Bye.